I'll get my car.
What mine?
Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Discussions. And this is episode 67 on June 7th, 6-7. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I have to do this at least once. I don't really like this joke, but unfortunately, this one feels very obligatory. So, episode 67 on June 7th. 6-7! Ha ha ha! I still don't really get that, to be honest with you, but considering the generation of the director of this movie and some possible generations who watch my channel, I had to do this at least once. But yeah, 67. But anyways, what up, Rebel Moon Theory? As I alluded to yesterday, I'm going to try to do a review of Backrooms soon. And luckily, I was able to do it the very next day. So, right now, we will be doing a review of the Backrooms today, the person I'm about to bring on. Now, if you saw the title, yes, it did say spoilers. The thumbnail said spoilers. We will get into spoilers. But before we get into spoilers, I want to have some non-spoiler discussions because I'm sure a lot of my viewers have not seen the movie yet. So I wanted to have a little bit of a segment that they could watch, that all of you who have not seen the movie could watch. All of you who have not seen the movie and care about spoilers. So, this is spoiler-free for now, and I will warn you when the spoilers come. And also, I'll make sure if you're watching this live, it will be pinned in the chat whether or not you can talk spoilers. So I have it pinned in the chat right now to not talk spoilers. So please keep all comments spoiler-free for now regarding Backrooms. We will get into spoilers later in the stream. So, or I think I said on the... Yeah, so, anyways, I'm really excited to have this person on. I guess he is now actually a new co-host for Lethal Geek. So, I'm really excited to have him on. Him and I have always had great discussions, and it'll be interesting to see our opinions on the Backrooms. I have a feeling that we'll agree on some stuff and disagree on other things. So please welcome as I bring on Kozy. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to talk about this movie because I saw it on Friday, and actually I saw it again today just because I wanted to kind of get a refresh opinion, because you know how that goes sometimes with a movie. You're not sure how you feel about something, so you need to see it again. So after seeing it a second time, I feel really pumped to talk about this. What about you?
I'm definitely excited to see this. This was like this movie I really liked. Like, it was one of my, like, when I found out this movie was being made and then it was coming out this year, I had to go see this. So I'm pretty hyped to talk about this because I haven't had the chance to talk to people about this. Like, it's when I do talk to people, it was either my homies to let them know, hey, go watch it, or it was like here and there with people of like, hey, I saw it, I liked it, and couldn't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil people. So Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for this conversation.
Absolutely, and don't worry. Eventually, you will be able to spoil on here. So there'll be a lot to talk about, a lot of great stuff to talk about. And one thing I want to get into is the box office. So this is really interesting because this is A24. This is a very small studio, one that actually was one of the only studios I think that actors and writers could work with during the strikes, because from what I understand, they actually listened to what the actors and writers said. So those unions actually allowed actors and writers to work with A24 during the strike. So
Yeah.
I was excited to see an A24 movie. So let's see how this did in the box office. So share screen. Backrooms becoming A24's highest grossing movie ever worldwide, besting Timothy Chalamet's 129 million plus Marty Supreme box office. So in less than a year's time, A24 has beat its own record twice. Kane Parsons' viral born Backrooms will become the New York studio's highest grossing movie ever this weekend, if not by Monday, overtaking the 191.2 million global haul previously racked up by Timothy Chalamet starring Marty Supreme. And that's even with a steep drop from Backrooms in North America, estimated at 68% with a second frame of 25.7 million. Domestic Hume tomorrow is expected to be 134.8 million. So, but I want to get to, where did it say that? Here's what I want to get into though, because box office numbers don't really mean anything if you can't get to here. A24, Backrooms cost under 10 million, co-financed with Sharon Entertainment, with domestic P&A in the teen millions. So this is really interesting. So, because what up, Frank C? Because I think if they say it has to be like double the amount before you break even, because it's with the fact that theaters take half or even more depending on which country you're in, and then the marketing expenses. So, but honestly, even if, let's say, you didn't have to do that, or no, wait, no, never mind. That's actually more. Never mind. But still, like, let's say that. So the 20 million, that's 20 million, right? Let's just say, and for good measure, let's just say 25 million to break even. Let's just say we'll just put to a nice 25 million. This is just a guesstimate, people, but like beating 100. What was the exact number again? Did they say the exact?
Was it 121.2? Is that what it said?
So
or 191.
So it's actually more than that, because this is the previous
one. Oh, that's the previous. So that's not even the full number. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really great, because this is a 20-year-old director. This is not like, you don't really see a lot of directors that age. I mean, he's younger than me, way younger than me, younger than you. Like when I was 20, I was a sophomore in college.
Yeah, same. I was in college trying to get my basic classes out of the way so I can focus on what I want to do. So like this is crazy. This is crazy, and I actually am happy because it opens the doors for more young creatives. It gives them the motivation, the inspiration to be like, hey, he's 20, he was able to make this film and put out like this amazing film, and is backed by a studio like A24, and it was successful. So if he can do it, why not me? And I love that. I love that very much.
20. Rebel Moon Theory, 20.
He's 20 years old.
Even younger than you, man. Even younger than you. But yeah, I agree. It's just, regardless of how I feel about the movie, and we will get into that, I'm happy to see that younger directors are getting a chance, because as you said, it just helps younger creatives get a chance. And it's great for smaller studios like A24 to get this success. It really is. And I'm really happy for him. I am really happy for director. So his name is Kane
Kane
Parson, but
Parks.
his YouTube name, because he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's Kane Pixels, right? Kane Pixels.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I mean, I just turned 32. I mean, when you see what these people are doing, yeah. But, I think it's a good lesson to show. Don't let anything hold you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't let anything hold you back, and even and don't even just look at his age, not to say not to take in his age, but don't let his age, him being 20, stop you, because there are directors older than him that didn't break out till they were in their 30s and 40s. So don't let this is a big accomplishment for somebody his age, but don't let his age of being 20 and being this successful stop you in whatever you want to do. So I want to put that out there, because I know some people would look at him like, dang, he's 20, I ain't do shit. He's doing this. He was able to make this movie and put it out. Now he's not say he's set, but he's able to now get the chance to be offered many other movies to do whatever you want. So yeah.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. I mean, when I say don't let age stop you, that goes both ways. If you're young, don't let it stop you. But if you're older, don't let it stop you, because you can still accomplish great things. I mean, our favorite director, Zack Snyder, I mean, he's in his upper 50s, almost turning 60. And we're still hoping to see some DC movies by him. Not to get too far into that because it's Backrooms, but I felt like this was a relevant point to bring up for this discussion. So, but point is, I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Kane. And he is 60. Okay, I thought he was 58 or 59, but okay, let's just see. We have the internet here. So Zack Snyder is he is 60 years old. Okay, he is exactly 60 years old. Okay, so but point is, great job, Kane. Great job, A24. And I'm really looking forward to see what he does next, because I think there's still a lot of potential. I'll just say that, and we'll get into some of this later on. But just wanted to go over that real quick. And now I want to talk about previous knowledge. So, because this is not a new concept, the Backrooms. This is a concept that started on Creppypasta, concept that started on YouTube, and including the director, who again is a YouTuber. But what is your knowledge of the Backrooms before seeing this movie?
Just the same like anybody else who knows about really knows about Backrooms, that it started in the Creepypasta, just this random picture of this office space, and somebody coming up with these ideas and not really a story, but this concept of, what if this office space just continues and there's no exit to the real world. It's just, you think there's a door and you think it's the way out, you open it and it opens to a whole different part of the office, or this whole other area that you would think why is there this whole pool bathroom area in a forever never ending office space. And so I think the first time I've heard about it, it wasn't on Creepypasta. I think when it started making its way on YouTube, and then at some point they started making games about it. That's where kind of I started finding out about Backrooms, but that's kind of my general knowledge about it.
You played any games on the Backrooms?
Oh yeah. I played Skate the Backrooms. Just recently, me and the homies played the Bone Rooms, which is just you're running around in this maze that looks like the Backrooms, and you're just being chased by skeletons. But yeah, those are the only two games I played that has to do with the Backrooms, though.
Still cool. And I guess as for me though, ironically, the first time I think I heard about the Backrooms, I recall, I mean, again, I don't remember the exact timeline, but it was about a year ago, was actually ironically a YouTube video of a short film by the same director. Like, and it's funny,
Oh.
I just found out today that it was the same director. Like, I saw the video, but I didn't realize it was that same director. And I have the link to the video in the description. And it's a short film that I think really captured the Backrooms perfectly. And then I saw a lot of YouTube videos on it, like those yellow guys in suits. I mean, minor spoiler, there's yellow guys in suits in the movie, but I saw a lot of videos with the yellow guys in suits going on slides, and some of them, a lot of them led to death with a smiling man or an entity, or very scary stuff, very scary stuff. And then some funny videos where you see like SpongeBob in the back room, Shrek in the back room, although the Shrek one was actually kind of scary, unironically. Batman in the back room. And so, yeah, and I also, from this quote, I mean, you can find this quote around anywhere. It's this one I'm just seeing off Reddit, but I've seen this quote before, so I'm not seeing it on Reddit for the first time, but because I think this is really interesting to describe what the Backrooms is, because it was posted in 2019. If you're not careful, you no clip out of reality in the wrong areas. If you're not careful and no clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the Backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you. And I've seen that quote plenty of times. And like the Backrooms actually became popular, I think, a lot more in 2020 because we were all inside. So I think this concept of like liminal space, because that's what it is. The whole concept is like liminal space. It's nothingness, basically, with an occasional entity that's going to kill you if you encounter it. That's kind of what the Backrooms is. So in 2020, when we're all inside, the concept's a lot scarier. So I've always found the concept really interesting. So I was really excited to see this movie when it came out. So yeah, but that's again, I don't think like either of us are as experts as some other people are. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people, if you comment and it's like, well, no, actually this. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm just want to explain what our knowledge is exactly. So let's get into it right now. So we're going to start with like a spoiler-free discussion. We're just going to kind of give our overall thoughts on the movie, spoiler-free, and yeah. And so if you haven't seen the movie, don't worry. You can stay for this part. I mean, you can stay for the whole thing if you don't care about spoilers. But we'll start with you, Kozy. What are some like non-spoiler thoughts you have on this movie?
I really enjoyed this film. Kane Parsons really captured the like atmosphere of the Backrooms, of like this anxiety, and that's kind of what I got. It was like this anxiety, like suffocating feeling you get of being in the Backrooms, of like, with this film there is a what they call it, no clip, or phasing through a wall or something like that. So they had a entrance in, whereas like certain other things you might accidentally fall in, and so if you fall in, you end up in the Backrooms. There's no way of getting out of it unless you somehow figure out how to get out. So with this, I love that he captured it so well, of this eeriness of the Backrooms, of just this old-fashioned, I don't even want to say nostalgic, but this old-fashioned like look of furniture, and even the yellow walls, and it's just this eerie thing of like, I'm in this place that shouldn't be here, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this place is this way. I don't know how it works. And just overall, just like I said, the anxiety, because I'm sitting in theaters just like, yo, like, I know about the Backrooms. The characters obviously don't know what this is, and just this weird feeling of like something is wrong, and you can't really, like, obviously, the this, I can't even call it a building, but this weird dimension that exists, and being in there is so wrong. Even like certain things in there that they show, you could tell, okay, something's messed up about this place, and it's like you don't know what it is. But I that's what I can say spoiler free for right now of like my thoughts on it. I think he did a really good job. I really enjoyed the actors and the actress, and how, you know, their characters were in this film. And yeah, they did an amazing job with this, in my opinion.
Yeah, so for me, I'll put it like this. I think the first half of the movie, I love how they capture the backrooms. I mean, there's some minor nitpicks I have with it that we'll get into in the spoiler-free review, but it's nitpicks I can maybe accept for trying to appeal to a general audience more. And we'll get into that later. But I like you said, I like the eerie feeling of it, the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of nothingness. And I like that you see, like, even when you hear entities or no, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop myself there because I don't think I can go on with Assault without spoilers. But I thought it was very interesting in that first half. Now, here's an analogy I want to say. You know, when like there's a really, you know how like in most teachers are happy if a student gets a B in their class and it's fine. But if, let's say, there's a really smart student, you know the student is gifted, you know this student is amazing, that same teacher's not going to be happy with that student getting a B.
Yeah.
Because they know they could have done better. And honestly, like, I had some issues with this, how the second half of the Backrooms was portrayed in the second half of the movie. I mean, not like the literal second half of the Backrooms.
Yeah.
And because I saw that, I realized that short film was done by him. It kind of made me not like it more because I saw him do better. Because in my honest opinion, I think that short film that he did on YouTube captured the Backrooms a lot better than the movie did. And because it's the same director, I feel like it's harder for me to be kind of okay with some of the changes they made to it because I saw him do better. Or maybe it's a lower budget production, so maybe they couldn't afford the effects of like what you wanted to see. And I'm saying it like that because, again, we'll talk. I'm trying to be careful not to spoil it, but it's like, because I've seen him do better on YouTube, I kind of have a hard time letting some of my issues go in that second half of the movie. So, and it was kind of weird how they like who the main character is. I'll just kind of, I'm going to just kind of retitle this slightly. I'm just going to say this instead because spoiler light. So basically, I mean, it's very light spoilers. It's not like, I'm not going to get into like, oh, this is going to the ending of the movie, but they kind of do a weird main character shift. Like, who you think the main character is, it's kind of a jarring shift how they do it. It doesn't feel like a false protagonist story. It feels more like the movie couldn't decide who the main character was. It was like the first half, this person's main character. The second half, this person's the main character. And it was a little weird for me. I mean, it wasn't like horrible. I think if certain things were executed a little better, I might have accepted it a lot more. But I'll put it like this. I think the movie either needed to be longer or shorter.
Not shorter. No, shorter. They wouldn't have done better shorter. It would have been,
so then longer.
To your point, probably longer. But I don't think it had that issue, in my opinion. I think, like, because not every movie is just there's one main character. Sometimes there's two main characters or three. And so with this, there was two main characters. So that's how, like, kind of I saw with it, of like, first half with one person, and you see that other person with that, that person we're with in that first half, and then the second half is we're with the other. So it's like I can kind of see what you're saying, and they couldn't decide a main character, but I don't know. I think those two people were the way they did it, I think was good for what they did on because you and I can't really go into detail until we get to the spoiler part of to like really explain it, but you needed that first half and what happens to that first person to get the second part of it. If you get what I'm saying, if you can kind of read between what I'm saying without,
I can, and so we'll say longer because sometimes I feel like shorter. I mean, like maybe take out certain plot threads to make it. But like, I think you're right though. I think longer would work better because I think there were some great ideas. I just think we needed to see stuff fleshed out more because I think the biggest challenge is with the movie is that I feel like with a concept like the Backrooms, shorter can work a little bit better because of what it is. But I feel like an hour and 45-minute movie of someone just walking around with nothingness, that's kind of hard to do for for an hour and 45 minutes because then it just gets boring. So I just let's just say there were ways I feel like they could have explored certain things better but we'll get into that. But I feel like because I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a hard time. I mean, the fact that I had to change this from spoiler free to spoiler light. So let's just get into the spoiler warning. So spoiler alert. So if you've not seen the movie, this is your chance to leave right now. So hold on a second. Before I do that, so I'm just going to put in the chat real quick. I'm just going to kind of replace the pinned message in the chat. So right now, this is the topic. So spoilers now. So we are at spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, this is your chance to leave right now. I'm going to count down now. 5, 4, 3.
You better run. You better run.
The entity turns out to be a weird pirate monster of Clark, or one of the entities turn out to be a weird pirate monster of Clark. But anyways, we'll move on. So we've been spoiled. Opening sequence. So this is like the part of the movie where one of the guys in yellow, or was he in? I don't even remember. Was he in a? Because
they were in the yellow suit. They were in the hazmat suit.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if that was like that first person because it was mostly like first person perspective because it was found footage. But so like that little segment though, that opening segment before you even get to Clark and the therapist, you just see the back rooms and then you see I'm gonna just assume there's some entity of the government. I don't know if that's actually confirmed, but what was your thoughts on the opening sequence?
I loved it. It is like what I was expecting to get found footage of, like I was hoping we get the hazmat suit guys. So even just getting one of them was like good enough for me because it's just like it shows like, hey, we're just throwing you into the back rooms with this random person in the hazmat suit who got lost, couldn't find his group, and so that just set the tone for the rest of the movie of like, just that whole scene, man. Just I was like, something about that found footage just makes it even worse, like because they could have not done the found footage and just done it with the regular camera that you see, in the most of the movie. But that found footage for some reason just gives this like weird, like this weird, messed up, scary atmosphere that like really fits the back rooms. So I really loved it, especially just like he's lost. He gets back to like, I guess where they were stationed at to like, document everything, and just for something to come out and attack him. And it's just like, looking around to make sure he's safe and looking around and makes like to see, if it's worth going down this hallway or not. That first opening sequence really, really did. I was like, all right, we're in for a ride.
Yeah, I really agree. I think it was probably one of the best parts of the movie was that opening sequence, and I know what you mean when you say like the found footage. I think because it's like the camera quality is lower. It just
Mhm.
something about that just makes it scarier than what it what it is. But like I feel like too because again, what makes the back room scary, what's supposed to make them scary, are two things: an entity could get you at any time, and nothingness, absolute nothingness, like no windows, no light, you're just walking
That
around.
that
It's
to even add on the emptiness in like you're saying, no windows, no lights, no, you can't see outside.
well
It's
fluorescent lights.
yeah, fluorescent light, that that cost, like I said earlier, the claustrophobicness of the back rooms, of like you said, no lights, no windows, no exit, no signs of, unless it's something in the back rooms, unless it's another person somehow, like in the beginning a bird's in there, unless it's like a bird or something. There's like no sign of life, and it's just this thing of like isolation. I think it's the best way to say that, the claustrophobic isolation of the back rooms. And it's just like feeling like, yo, am I trapped here forever? Is there no exit? And when you think there is an exit, it's just like, no, it's just more. It's just more. It's just different variations, or a whole like different room, but it's just more back rooms, more isolation, more emptiness. And yeah, that drives the fear of like, you don't want to be here.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of the short film I talked about because it actually happened. Is like the main character in that movie, and I'm calling it short film, whatever you want to call it, but like
Mm-hmm.
he's in the traditional yellow you see, he falls down and then he's kind of like in another kind of office space that's still empty, and then he sees emergency like exit, so he like naturally he thinks, oh perfect, I'm gonna walk up these stairs. He's back in the yellow part again, he's back in that, and it's
Yeah.
and that's what I really like, but I like that it kind of captured what the back rooms is supposed to be. And then when he's calling for help, he doesn't know where he is, and then the entity is coming, and what I like, you can't see the entity, because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like some of the scariest monsters in my opinion are the ones you don't see, because nothing is scarier than imagination. I feel like I
Yeah.
mean it's very rare that something will ever be scarier than what you can picture, or like the question mark, the so I really like that, and the way he's like asking for help, and just the whole thing just captured the back rooms perfectly. Exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it's supposed to be. You're scared of nothing. Some entities after you. You don't know exactly where you are. I mean, he probably kind of did, but even still, it's it really captured the whole. What I feel like to me, the whole essence of the back rooms is captured the best in the opening sequence, the
Yeah.
mystery, because that's what I like about the back rooms, like when I like in general, like not just this movie, is mystery, the unknown. That's
Yeah.
what makes it scary. So, and that's why I like the first half of the movie, because so fun fact, so do you know where that photo of like the first back room, see like where it actually came from in real life?
Uh, no.
A furniture store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh, it's a furniture store. Okay.
Yes, in real life. Not I'm not talking about the lore of the backrooms. I'm saying in real life, where like let me just show you again so that you guys know what I'm talking about. Like
I don't know why I was thinking, like, because like people, it looks like an office room, but like I thought it was an office like building or something like that. So this is a
no,
furniture store?
yep. Let me just
What?
yeah. So I felt like it was really perfect that they actually had it in empty furniture store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin as part of it. It was a renovation photograph. So like yeah, it was a nice little nod to what the backrooms is supposed like to like the real origin of the backrooms, like the real origin of the photo. So I really like that. It was like such a minor detail, but I like little nods like that.
Mm-hmm.
But And now, so this is where I say where I have like kind of like a nitpick, but I kind of accepted it for a general audience. So just to clarify, no clipping. In real life, the origin comes from it's like a video game. You know when something's not supposed to go through something, but it does because of a glitch.
Yeah.
That's no clipping. That's where the
Yeah.
word comes from. So you no clip out of reality. It's supposed to be random. I wasn't really the biggest fan that Clark, one of the main characters, could just go through the wall and come back out. Like, no, like if I were to like no clip right now, like let's say I fall backwards in my chair and I go through a wall,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going back through that wall. Like, no, it's a one-way entrance. You can get in, but you can't get out that way. So I wasn't like the biggest fan that he could like go come in and out that same location. And that you not only that, when he's talking to those like his assistant manager and her boyfriend slash photographer guy, the fact that he could like talk through the wall. But like I admit that's like a nitpick. I admit that's not like I
Yeah,
wasn't like this ruin the movie for me. But go on.
yeah, I know. I was gonna say, yeah, it's kind of that's a nitpick because I watched the link you sent me of all. I didn't get to watch all of them, but I got through a majority of the I guess you can call it short films or short stories or whatever you want to call it on his channel for it, and maybe it's because like there's a part in those short stories where like the async the company, and it's not really for the people that's listening, it's not really a spoiler because async is also in his on his YouTube channel, so it's like but um but async was able to go through and come back, so it's like I like it because I like that you can go through and go out because there's two reasons. One, it allows to have this factor of this element in this horror story of like there is an exit. There is an exit to leave. But you're so deep in the back rooms, you can't find where you originally came through from. So now you're so deep in the back rooms that at that point there's no way out. And so I like that because it allows it's and I understand your point of like you're in once you're in, you're in. There's no like exiting, which that's even scarier. But the idea that there is an exit, but you can't get to it because you're so deep and you don't know where you are and you think you know how to get back, that makes it even worse because you know in your head there's an exit that I can walk through. There is blue tape that we outlined that we can't get back to. Once Clark and his assistant and the assistant's boyfriend get hit by the couch and slide down, there's no way back up. So I think that's even scary. And then the second thing is that toward the end, where I forgot the assistant's name or not assistant, the therapist's name, but was it Mary? Mary.
Yes.
Mary, when she's running away, and it's kind of like, and I know it's kind of like, I hop to the end, but it goes to the point of her running away from the giant pirate monster, and she thinks she's back in the store, but the store is in the back rooms. That makes it even trippy because it tricks even the audience to think, oh, she made it out. Wait, the pirate monster also made it out? No, she's still in the back rooms. So it's like you think there's an exit. Like I said, there is an exit. We all know as the audience, and even Mary knows, and even Clark's knows, but they don't know how to get back to that entrance. So it's almost like kind of make it think about like IKEA. It's like almost going so deep into IKEA.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know there's an entrance that you came from, but you're so deep you don't know how to get back to the food court and the the entrance you came from, and you're like, oh, I'm scared because it's like, why am I lost in this big furniture store, and there's an exit and I can't find the exit. That right there just makes it like this kind of twisted, messed up like psychology uh thing of like I don't know, like I don't know how to really explain it more than that, but just the idea there's an exit that we came through that I can go back through, but I don't know how to get back because we're so deep. This place is a maze, and you think you're going through one thing and you're in a whole separate area and you don't know how big the back rooms is, and you're finding new levels. And then even at the end where she's like when she's running away from the monster to get to that store part in the back rooms, you're seeing there's levels all the way down. You don't know how deep that hole is. So I don't know. That to me, like, I think that's even scarier. But to your point, I would agree also. It would have been maybe even, I think it would have made it even that horror element a little better if there was no way to exit or walk through back to the store and he's just trapped in there until I guess like Mary finds it and then she's in there or whatnot. But yeah.
Well, like maybe what they could have done is like maybe like the exit works at first, but then like maybe like the third time because he's going in and out of it, maybe then it doesn't work that third time, and now it's oh shit, I'm actually trapped in there. So
Yeah.
I mean, there could have been some better ways to do it, but I still think in general, I even admit that's a nitpick because I still think they capture the emptiness of the back rooms, that you hear sounds but you don't know where it's coming from, and the fact that there are entities that you're trying to avoid, you're trying to get away from. You don't know what they look like, and when you do see a little bit of it, just like a black figure, at least what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I feel like it captured the horror of the backrooms perfectly, in my opinion. And I like that at first that at first it is just Clark walking around, because if you don't know about the mythology of the backrooms, I mean, well, I guess you might get freaked out if you enter a wall and then you end up in some random place, but you're going to be curious. And I like that it wasn't necessarily dangerous at first until he heard the noise, and then you see that suspense. And I feel like it was really captured perfectly in that first half of the movie. Because again, you don't see the entities. And it's what I say. Imagination is always going to be scarier than the actual monster you see.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it can't be scary once you see the monster. I'm not saying that it can't be, but it's never going to beat the imagination. Imagination's a powerful thing. But I liked it because they kept the backrooms a mystery. Like, what is this place? I don't know what this place is. There's no explanation to what this place is. And I really like that. It's mystery. It's mystery. It's the unknown. It's the loneliness. It's the monster could get me at any second. It's portrayed all perfectly. And now one thing I will admit with the exit thing, I will say I'm glad they didn't do that cliche. You know, when someone tries to prove something to someone and then the one time it doesn't work is when you have witnesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was worried. I'm kind of glad they didn't go in that direction because I hate that cliche so much because it's overdone. So when Clark was showing his assistant manager and the boyfriend the entrance to the back rooms, I like that they didn't do that stupid, oh, it doesn't work now. You're crazy. We don't believe you. I'm glad they didn't do that because I hate that cliche so much. So I will give them credit for that. And I like that they do have nods. Like, they talk about a pool in there, that I've seen a lot of the pool videos of the back rooms.
Yeah.
They do a lot. I feel like the first half of the movie captures what the back rooms needs to be. And I think the problem with and we'll talk about it more in the second half, but I think that's where I think some of the problems kind of fell into, is that you have to find ways to expand it. Because I feel like the YouTube stuff is short and sweet. So it's a lot easier to capture some stuff. But we'll get into that later. But now let's get into both characters. I'm saying both characters because there's literally, we don't need to do a segment about the assistant manager or the boyfriend. They're literally just
they're secondary characters to it, so it's not even really much to them, to the assistant and the boyfriend. But yeah,
they're just plot devices. But let's get into our two main characters. Clark, what's your thoughts of Clark?
Clark, I really like the way they written Clark because it goes to what kind of the theme of the movie is, which is like being forgotten and being like stuck in the past. So like for him, you see in the beginning of the movie talking to Mary, the therapist, of like his, you know, his ex and how what happened between those two, and finding out in the second session of therapy of was it the first session or the second session? I think it was the first session actually. But basically, finding out what drove her to break up with Clark, and then seeing Clark being stuck at this mattress place and hasn't moved on from it, and he thinks he can't move on, but it's not even that. It's he's choosing to stay and keep working at this mattress or furniture store. And you see that throughout this whole film of like the mattress store is his own isolation, his own loneliness. Even you see where when the assistant leaves and he's there and the store is locked up, he's spending the night at the store. He's sleeping at the store, like staying there. So and he talks about in that therapy session of like he's an architect. He wants to be an architect, and you see that like that's what he wants to do, but he hasn't still chose to go and pursue that, and he blames it on his ex. And then throughout the film you see he goes from late, and we'll get to the third part when we get there, but you see throughout that he starts to realize that it's not the ex, it's not this person, it's not that person, it's not this place, it's him. And it's him choosing. And so I really like that, because it really kind of shows like, despite, the horror and him being in the back rooms and all that he is realizing that he is okay, and he's choosing to live and be this way in his life. So yeah. And I like the actor.
Well,
the actor's really good, phenomenal. But yeah.
Oh yeah, the actor did a great job. I think the actor did a great job, but I like what you said. You see the backstory of him, how loneliness suits him better in some ways, because his wife, he got into an argument with his wife. It just seems like, and then you see like his little rival briefly, the cowboy, like because he's a pirate furniture salesman. Well, that's like the bit.
Yeah.
When you see his rival, the cowboy furniture salesman, and it just seems like all these people are letting him down, but like. At first he's just like he's in the back rooms because he wants to prove to his therapist that no, I know this is true. I know this happened. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back with proof. But then it seems like he kind of starts to embrace the chaos a little bit. And we'll kind of get into how I feel about the Insanity Act. And maybe that's where I think his character needed to be longer, because I would have liked, because one thing I will say with him is he goes from like being in the back room once to like all of a sudden like having a map drawn out, like a whole like mapping out the place, or at least mapping out like. I think we needed to see more with him in the back rooms. I think that's where I think some of it, where I will say is we needed to see more with him, like see more of like him actually exploring the back rooms, but like maybe even kind of seeing like embracing some of the nothingness, but it makes. But like, yeah, you feel bad for the guy because he's the underdog. I like the little detail he says, his house, he's paying for the house, like in the divorce settlement, despite the fact, or I don't know if they're officially divorced or separated, because he refers to her as his wife, not his ex-wife. So I think they're actually still married. They're separated. So it's hard, right? Because you're paying for a house that's yours and you can't stay in it. And I mean, as you say, the furniture store is not doing well, like that. They say that in the movie. So he probably can't afford a hotel, so it makes perfect sense that he's staying in the furniture store. And it just, you feel bad because it's like he's trying to run this store. He wants to be an architect. He can't be an architect right now, so he's trying to run this store. He's trying to make it a success, and just little things that they talk about. The rat, there's another rat after they killed one. The power, they keep having electoral issues, which we know why. But it's like when you're trying to do something and it's like it's not doing well, but then like maybe you're trying to like get the house ready, and then all of a sudden like it's not as clean as it should be. You fell behind, but now one of the doors isn't opening properly, and now the sink, one of the sinks is clogged or doesn't really work. And it's just like every little thing, like every time you try to do something, something goes wrong. Like every time something could go right for you, the exact opposite happens. And like, here's the thing, like it's kind of like, you know how Killing Joker says all it takes is one rotten day?
Yeah. It takes one bad day, and you lose your mind, or you're just like saying, F it, I'm done with it. Yeah.
And that's what I feel like what's happening with him is that, he's just like, here's the thing. I know we all like to think we're sane, but we're all completely 100% sane. We all have our breaking points. Like, I always kind of poke it like this. Like, if someone's constantly like literally poking you, going, "Are you upset yet? Are 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 you upset yet? Do you want to scream yet? Hello? Are you upset yet?" Like, I think even the most sane person is going to snap and either punch the person or at least scream at them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's happening with Clark. Like, his metaphorical person poking him is the world, is nature, is God, whatever you want to say. Or it's like every time something can go right for him, something goes wrong for him. His marriage is failing, his furniture store is not succeeding, and it feels like the world is poking him. So in some ways it makes sense why he's going crazy. You sympathize with him a little bit, but sympathize does not mean excuse behavior, because I want to make that clear. But I really like what they did with his character. I think my only criticism, we need more. I think we needed to see more from like him exploring the back rooms, and to a point we're going to get into later in the movie. We needed to see a little bit more. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking like maybe an extra half hour would have given what this movie needed a little bit more. But overall, I think great character. And another really good character is the therapist. I like this character. I like that she seemed really dedicated to her patient, to the point that he hasn't shown up for her therapy. He's actually showing up to his place and just making sure he's okay. Because she knows Clark has no one. Because, I mean, here's the thing with therapists, what people don't know. As long as no one is in danger, they have to keep what you tell them confidential. Like if you tell someone that, like, I don't want to. How do I want to say this? I could be wrong on some stuff, so don't take what I'm saying as legal advice. Don't go, "Oh, you said I could tell my therapist this and they wouldn't tell anyone." Well, no, don't. I mean, I could be wrong about some stuff, but like from my understanding, for example, if you shoplifted and you told your therapist that, they can't tell the police or the court or the store owner, "Hey, this person stole from you." But if you were to say, "Hey, I'm going to kill this person," the therapist does have to tell them that. So my point is, Clark told Mary probably everything about his life, everything. So she probably knows him in some ways better than anyone. So she knows that he didn't have anyone. He didn't have a friend to check on him. So when he's not showing up after a while, that's a problem. So it makes sense that she showed up. But like, I guess we'll start with you. We'll go on with you, Kozy. What's your thoughts on this character?
I really liked her also. She was like almost the wall of the bridge. I don't want to say the bridge, but she was the wall, or the net to keep him away from losing his mind. Like she was the barrier. Oh yeah, that's a better way to say it. She's the barrier that would keep him and help him not trip out. And so, because you see that first session, it went really well. It went really well. That whole we're gonna play a game, and you know, she plays the wife, he plays himself, and they replay that night of, you know, of him coming home late and food's not ready, and you know, she's asleep and he tried to do something and it goes wrong, and you know, they had that big argument. So she helped play a good vital role in that. I really love that she never, because she kind of did it in a therapist way, but like she didn't try, she never like really put down Clark. Like when he came to her about the back rooms and finding out about it, yes, if you were to tell somebody that, they wouldn't really believe you. And then especially the therapist of like, okay, did you imagine it? But she didn't really do it in a condescending way of like, I don't believe you and you might be losing your mind. But she also, because it was this weird thing of like, you know, like a therapist will, you tell a therapist like if you're Clark and you're telling your therapist like, hey, I found this extra room of the store that I never knew was there, never knew about it, and I've been all over the store, never knew about this. She had some type of, but like she had a part of her that believed them, even if most of it was like, I don't know if he's losing his mind. I don't know if he's not getting enough sleep. I don't know what it is that might, something in his brain might not be wired right after everything or whatever. Or that's why she asked him, have you been drinking? Or when's the last time you drank? And so she even in that non-belief, she had a Clark convinced himself just enough to be like, okay, he might be telling the truth, but she doesn't understand what it is until she, you know, we'll get to that part when we get to that part. But yeah, I really liked her character, and she really played a good role. And I think even to like, I think I would have, along with what you're saying of, I would have loved to see more Clark in the back rooms. I think I would have loved to see more of her in the back rooms.
Well, not just more of her in the back rooms, but like kind of more of her childhood a little bit too, because I feel like they were trying to connect her childhood a little bit to the current situation, because you can see that her mom was a nutcase, that she was not treated great as a child. And what I kind of like about that, she is an exact opposite of Clark, is that she kind of endured a worse circumstance as a kid than Clark is enduring right now, and yet still turned out sane, still turned out completely normal and wants to help people. Like you see why she's a therapist. She has personally experienced as a kid her fear of like seeing people being insane with her mom. So, but yeah, I agree. Like, I think we need to see her more in the back rooms, exploring the area and seeing more of that. Because I think that would have been cool too. Because at the end of the day, this movie's called The Backrooms, right? And it's hard because I think, again, it's like what I said earlier. You can't just have someone walking around for an hour and 45 minutes with nothing happening, because that's boring. That's just going to get boring after a while. If you're in the situation, yeah, it's scary. But if you're not, if you're watching it on a screen, it's boring. So I understand like why they didn't want to show it too much, but I feel like we could have seen more and like maybe find more of her, a way to connect her a little bit to the back rooms. But
well, I think we did, without skipping too far ahead to the third act, but like like I said, the isolation thing of like her, when they showed her and her mom, you know, her wanting to go outside and her mom stopping her, and you see how, you know, her mom being insane, but also like the isolation of, she couldn't go outside, she couldn't go play when she wanted to, she couldn't be like a normal child, like, you know, most normal children are. She, you know, she was in a place of isolation. So like you see and hear not to say we not to deny that we don't need more of that to connect it, but I think they did show her being in there kind of gave her that isolating feeling of like, oh, like I'm inside a, this almost inside a not never ending building, and I was already in a, in a house, and I couldn't go outside. So it kind of feels to her a never ending building, but except, there's walls to stop you at. But with this, it's like, I don't know, like there's something, without, like I said, without getting to when we get to the third act, I can further explain my point of them kind of connecting to it. But for in the second act, just the being isolated and her kind of not like really, not to say she didn't like that, but like she already went through that, and it kind of already kind of, I don't know, like raised some red flags for her of like, oh, like I already went through something kind of in the, not in a similar fashion, but just being in a place of I can't escape, and this loneliness and this isolation, and she found a way to get out of that. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and maybe if I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just nitpicking too much on some stuff, but I do kind of get the parallels with her in that regard, and
mm-hmm,
maybe again, maybe like see, maybe that's the point where the exit should have blocked when she gets in the back rooms, and then all of a sudden the exit doesn't work anymore. That I
mm-hmm.
think might have captured the parallel a little bit better, but other than that, though, I do like the character. I like her dedication, but we'll kind of talk into let's kind of get into the third act now. So Clark going insane. I'll say this, I don't think the sequence was really earned. This is where we really needed more. Like we go from like Clark like wanting to help his assistant
Mm-hmm.
from dying, he seems very sane, and then all of a sudden you just see him and he's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs all of a sudden. And I feel
Well,
like we needed
I was just gonna say, like, not to interrupt you, but like it was a time jump.
yeah,
I
I know.
think maybe they should have, I guess, really like not shown, but really like, I guess, tell the audience, not like directly tell them, but like really show the way of like, well, no, they did, because there was a bunch of letters underneath the door to the
Well,
shop.
yeah, I know there was a time jump, but it still felt kind of like I don't know. It still just felt kind of weird to me because they did acknowledge the time jump because of the letters, but just it still
Mm.
felt I don't know. I feel like we needed to see a little bit more between when that monster allegedly grabs Clark to when the when he's kind of insane. I don't know how they could have done that, but I feel like there was more they could have done, but I I mean I'm like kind of like understanding the sequence more, I'll admit, as I'm talking about it with like Clark's loneliness and what drove him insane and staying. See, and this is where I kind of had issues though. It was like when Clark's talking about the back rooms about how memories produce these beings in the back rooms. That's what I really did not like. Because no, that's you're not supposed to give back rooms an explanation like that. Like they're a mystery. It's loneliness. It's isolation. These memories of people appearing. That's not that. No, I didn't like that, and I feel like if Clark was actually like alone, they could have justified that a little bit better.
Okay, I could give it to you on that. Like because like even the monster bit, I was expecting the Siren Head monster to be in there and not a backrooms made entity of Clark as a pirate, because
Yeah.
people started like, I like the idea of like certain buildings being forgotten being in the back rooms, but the idea of like, oh, this person was forgotten they're in the back rooms now, or like a messed up looking version of them is in the back rooms because Backrooms remembered what doesn't remember wholly of what this person looked like. So I'll give you that. I didn't really like that part as much, but the him going insane though is him. I like that because it's him being in the backrooms for a long time, and we as the audience, before we get to him showing back up, we don't know what happens to him because the entity picks up the camera and attacks him, and the camera goes off. But I guess to help your point, or to help, I guess, make that sequence better, would be what you said of having more scenes of him in the back rooms. And then I guess we get to the point of that whole thing of he ends up finding the wall and hearing his assistant, and the entity shows up, and it cuts or whatever. So I think that would have helped. I think, and I don't want to speak for you, so you tell me if you agree or not. But do you think that would have helped with the whole him going insane, and then the time jump part of, if we saw him more in the back rooms exploring and trying to find a way out and maybe being chased more, that by the time we get to the time jump and Mary going in there, it would have paid off a little bit more?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can, not just that though, but having him truly be alone, like not having, because like those memories of people that you can eat, which that was just kind of disturbing. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like what it did is it gave him too much company, because like the whole point is like I kind of like what you said, like buildings should be there, right? Buildings, things, not people, not animals, just the ones that no clip from the front rooms, which for those of you who don't know, the front rooms is the real world. That's our world. We're the front rooms. We're in the front rooms right now. And then they're in the back rooms. So you shouldn't see copies of people. And I think that's where I could have maybe bought Clark going insane more if he was truly isolated. Because I'll admit, I'm an introvert. I will admit that. But there's still, when I was sick for 2 weeks, and I was I still talk to people on Zoom and StreamYard, but I did go a little insane just being home constantly. Like those few times when I went outside with a mask on helped me just seeing people. I admit that I need to see people at sometimes. I mean, so I could buy him going insane, but I think it's not, I'll put it like this. It's not so much the sequence that's Clark going insane himself that bothered me. I don't like what it revealed about the backrooms. When he's talking about, what the backrooms is, it's memories of people being forgotten. And I don't like that, because the backrooms is supposed to be a mystery. You're not supposed to give the backrooms an explanation. And that's what I'm saying, where the movie kind of took a bit of a dump for me. And I feel like they did that because, so to clarify, that short film I sent you, that was the short film I talked about, that's the first episode of that whole series. But
Yeah.
I feel again, it's the thing, because it's longer, the director felt like you needed to give it an explanation, but it's you didn't really need to do that, because at first I was not happy with Clark going insane, because I'm well, no, I mean, the entities, the loneliness, that's what's scary, but no, him being alone is what drove him insane, and that fits perfectly. But he should have truly been alone, not knowing what the backrooms is, maybe being a memory of his house, because I think he was actually in a memory of his house. But one thing I will say about that sequence, it was well acted, it was well directed. I mean, the therapist, Clark, they did phenomenal acting from those two actors. I will say that. And I think, Mary tries to be a therapist still at first, but then there's a certain point where it's you have to protect yourself before you can protect him. It's he's fuck that shit. You're tying me up right now. You're insane. She gives him the hard truth of what, I'll say this, like a therapist in some ways, like a good friend. And now I'm not saying your therapist is your friend, but one thing a therapist or a good friend does is they tell you the hard truth. They don't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you need to hear. If you're acting crazy, a real, someone who truly cares about you will give you the harsh truth, even if it makes you hate them, even if it makes you hurt them. And that's the thing Mary's saying. Stop blaming everyone else. This is your fault. You're the one who is drinking constantly, not Mary. You're the one who's upset about not being an architect. You know, there's a certain point where it's like, no matter what happened, personal accountability is still a thing. And I like that it was really well acted. And even Clark being like, okay, I need to stay here. This is where I belong, but I'm not going to make you go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That yeah, that scene, I was like, is he really gonna kill her? Like, so, but yeah, and I kind of agree. Like when they reveal what the monster was, which I still think that might not just be the only monster down there. Not to say that there's entities that look like the people that's down there. I think there's actually like other entities that, you know, I guess if you go really deep into the back rooms, you might, you know, find them. But I agree with you. I don't think not to say, and it's not to say not to say the monster wasn't scary or wasn't messed up looking, but I didn't I agree that I didn't like the reveal because the mystery of it, of like, because like even in the short story of like, I got to the part where it was like four of them, four of the people in the hazmat suits walking, and then one of them falls into like that you know, it's a grid platform, and he fell into the hole, and he ended up finding this like whole neighborhood. So with that, there was a way of doing it, of he captured what the being looked like on camera, but even from a distance, and it being a found footage vintage camera, it still didn't get what it looked like. You can only get like, it's still basically, to say to your point, it still played the imagination, regardless if the camera caught at a far distance what the monster may look like before it starts charging at the I think the dude's name was Marvin, before Marvin starts running back. And so with that, in the film, it did kind of be like, like it was scary that it was chasing Mary, and it you know, it bit, and I probably killed, you know, Clark. But I do like the mystery of, I don't know what's chasing her. I know it's loud. I know it sounds big and has heavy footsteps and it's chasing after her. I would have preferred that than, oh, it's a giant version of Clark in the pirate suit with a messed up face. And yeah, but I heard there's a theory that the assistant's head being in the refrigerator, that I think there was a theory that Clark might have eaten the assistant, and that's why the entity is bit Clark and was chasing after Mary, because it's you know, the Backrooms remember. So he probably didn't know if the assistant was real or not. And so,
Okay.
you know, so because remember, he was trying to get her to eat the, you know, I guess them being made out of cushions or whatever. But he probably didn't know if she was actually the assistant.
Real.
Yeah, real, or a Backrooms made up manifestation of her. And so because if Clark didn't eat her, the entity wouldn't have bit Clark.
See, but that actually, if that's true, though, if that theory is true, that's an issue I have, because let's go back to the whole origin of the Backroom. So I'm just gonna read this last part. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you. So is like every single entity a memory of someone who ate someone else? Like, I don't like, to me, there shouldn't be a need. Like, it chases you because it's scared, because it's a monster. It doesn't need an explanation. So I don't like that. And the thing is, too, I would have even accepted, because I know I say the reveal, but I could have lived with it if it was at least like the spearhead monster, those black entities. Like every YouTube video I've seen of this, including some by this director, that when it's when you actually do see the monster, it's either some black smiling man, some smiling entity that's like completely black, or the black spearhead thingy. Like it should have
Yeah.
been one of those two, like the one that roars, the one that
Yeah.
that's what it should have been. Like that's see, this is where the movie goes from like, I kind of like this. This is a really good movie to I've seen you do better on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like at first I was going through my head is like, well, maybe it's a smaller studio that maybe can afford to produce the effects of it. I'm like, no, he
But
did this
they,
on
yeah,
YouTube.
but not even that. If they can afford the, hey, Mama Bear,
Hey, Mama Bear.
if they can afford the monster of Clark, then they could for sure afford the spearhead, the black spearhead, or the smiling faces. So, but I agree with you. I would have preferred that because even in the short film, the monster is imitating somebody in the back rooms yelling for help. So like and I don't know how far you got into all the short films if but the one where it's the guy named Marvin in the hazmat suit that falls, he hears somebody yelling for help and goes to investigate, and he ends up going and ends up finding where the sound's coming from, and it's the entity far down and starts running at him, and you hear the roar, you hear the footsteps, and he's running, he's like, that's not human, that's not human, that's not a human. And so that was done really scary, and it was just like, why didn't they do that? That would have been better in the back rooms, especially since you had that caveman cutout poster who had the tape with all the different languages speaking out. So yeah, I agree on you with that, because that pirate thing wasn't really my favorite thing about the movie.
I mean, and we'll kind of talk about this right now because I think this kind of overlaps a little bit. But like, yeah, I think the problem, like, here's the thing with the entities, what makes them scary is that they don't talk. I think I feel like a monster you can converse with is not as scary as like a monster that just roars at you. Now, imitating someone calling for help is a little different, but like you don't converse with them. You can't converse with them. That's what makes them scary. And I feel like the problem with the pirate chasing Mary is that even though I kind of like the segment of going through the back rooms, and as you said, like you think that she's back home or back in the front rooms or the real world, whatever you want to call it, because they don't actually say back rooms in the movie other than the title of the film. They don't ever call it.
Yeah. I like that. Wait, so how did you find out they call it front rooms, or is that something you just came up with?
That's just in general with the lore of everything I've been reading about the back rooms.
Okay. I do like that. It's called front rooms. Okay, I like that. It's cool.
So so like that's not like in the movie at all. That's just what they call it. That's just the general lore. That's just the general lore of the backrooms. And but yeah, see that's the thing. I like that you go through, like, I like some of the ideas they have in it, but the problem is the monster in some ways is kind of funny. Like funny looking. It's like so it's like I'll admit that if I actually encountered it, I'd be scared. But you also have to make it scary to the viewers who are watching on a screen, because again, you know that monster's not going to come out and get you. So you have to make it scarier than it would be to a person who's actually in the situation. And I think, to me, if you're not like actually in that situation, it's not going to come after you, and you know the person's a fake character. It's funny. It felt too funny to me, and to me, the spearhead would have been so much better. So that's what kind of kills it for me.
I agree on. It would have been better if it was spearhead. I agree on the monster looking funny looking, but to be honest, I was terrified in the theater. Not for myself or anything. I was terrified for her, because seeing what happened to Clark and then her running, finally, getting out of the rope and running, and seeing that monster start chasing her, and like I thought that, and even when you get to the store, I was like, oh, oh, she might be a goner. Like this might be the end of Mary until she the gas started activating inside the back rooms of the store. So so I would say yes and no, because yes, the monster was funny looking, but it did bite Clark, and he took a chunk out of Clark, and she ran off and then started chasing her. And even it being funny looking, it's still being a tall, lanky version of Clark in a pirate suit that wants to eat her. I thought it was still scary, despite it being that. But yeah, I agree with you. It would have been better with the spearhead monster. Yeah, that would have been a better sell.
And I will say this too. I think I found it more funny when I watched it the second time today because I knew what was going to happen. So I think because some of the suspense was not there, I think then I was just able to be like, okay, yeah, that thing's funny looking. And
the main problem is, while this was the guy who started the Backrooms legend, has become a much bigger thing. Every Creepypasta channel has at least one backroom story.
yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I do know there's different versions of the Backrooms, but I think the one thing that a lot of these different channels have in common is that entity is some black monster entity that's not a copy of people. And I think I mean, I will say I did like that Mary was smart and broke his peg leg to get away from him. And I did like, I mean, there was suspense definitely, and I did like that you see the Backrooms slowly becoming real, because that's actually a thing with the Backrooms, is that you can actually think you're in the real world, in the front rooms, when you're really not. In fact, actually, sometimes certain levels of the Backrooms, you can go outside and you actually see a blue sky. You see a blue sky just like you do in the real world. So that's, I mean, maybe it would have been kind of cool if you even saw that a little bit. I kind of understand why they didn't, because I think that might have been too much for the first movie. I feel like, so I understand why he didn't do that. I feel like that would have been a little much for the first movie, but maybe that's where maybe at the end you could slowly start seeing actual, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I'm kind of thinking of ideas, but maybe a sequel could have explored that more. But yeah, I do like the concept of how you see the back room slowly evolving more. So I did like that. Again, it's just a monster.
There's a lot of different monsters and rooms. I do like they explored that there are multiple entrances. Same.
Yeah.
I just, with Batman, I agree on, because I know there's multiple monsters. I agree with them on, I don't like, I like the whole places and things get forgotten, so it's in the back rooms, like a building, signs, I don't know, clothing, things being in there. But people, I didn't really like that concept. But yeah, I would have, I don't know, I would have preferred them to have a different monster, or a monster that already exists, that's not somebody that looks like Clark or looks like a regular human or whatever, or somebody that that's on a missing poster or whatever. Someone referred it like a Rubik's Cube, and I love that analogy. The Backrooms,
I'm assuming she's making the back rooms, but
Okay,
I kind of get it a little bit. But I think my big thing is, though, because of that the first short film with the spearheaded entity, I saw a version of that scarier, by that same director on YouTube. And the problem is he didn't outdo himself on YouTube. That's the thing. Because I saw something better, I'll even go this far. If I didn't see something better on YouTube, and maybe I was watching the back rooms with no prior knowledge, I might have appreciated Pirate Clark a lot more. But because I've seen this something it done much better by the same guy, that's what kind of ruins it for me.
Is that
I know it
everything's-
is,
Yeah, I like
but
that. Yeah.
But and that's why I'm fine with like the place evolving, but not the people evolving. That's my thing. Like you can evolve the place, but not the people. And that's what I see. That's why I I like the concept of the setting of the chase, but I don't like the monster in the chase. We'll put it like that.
Yeah, I'm conflicted because even even with seeing the short film, I still in theaters did feel kind of like, oh, it's the monster is a pirate version of him, and then it left me thinking like, okay, so then what was the monster that killed the hazmat dude in the beginning? And the Mama's Bear's point, yes, there's different monsters. It's just, I don't know. I was expecting, even if it wasn't the spearhead, I wasn't expecting Pirate Clark. So it left me. It did leave me confused, but then it also kind of saved itself with the chase. So it was just, I guess just like that's the one part in the film that I didn't appreciate as much. Not to say I didn't like the concept or anything, but like to Batman's point of the back room is supposed to be a mystery, and then you're trying to I was gonna say actor, you have a character that's explaining the back rooms. It kind of like almost defeats the point of it, despite it being this big puzzle / maze that you're running through and trying to find an exit and whatnot. But yeah.
And I think it is, and to your point about there being different monsters, my thing is you never have a second chance to make a good first impression. The thing with the Pirate Clark, that is the first entity we saw in full, right? I mean, I know we saw other entities, but you never see their faces, you never see anything. This is the first one we saw. And it just, to me, it just was not the best they could have done. They could have literally, again, I know I emphasize in the spearhead a lot, but that's just because, again, it was so much better by that same guy. So, I mean, I think we kind of beat this point to death right now. So let's move on to the ending. So now the hazmat suits guys, they rescued Mary, and now they're questioning her. They're talking, and I will say this: there's a theory that, oh, maybe she's still in the back rooms. No, she's not still in the back rooms. I don't think that, because they specifically showed a memory of her in the back rooms, but not just that though. You see the guy who's questioning her, you literally see that same guy eating popcorn with his family at home earlier. So I think she is back in the front rooms when they rescued her, but whether or not she's able to leave that building, that's what I think the mystery is. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on the ending and what I just said?
I thought she was in, like, because obviously they showed, the backrooms versions of her, but like I thought she was because when she gets dragged in, or she gets dragged out of that part of the backrooms, even when they're stationed, that was still, unless it's the same facility from the short story of, they have they built this thing to open a portal into the back room. So either she's in the facility that's in the real world, or there's a facility that's in the back rooms. It might be the first part of what I'm saying. But
it's the first part, because you see that same facility in the front rooms earlier in the open. Like you see them with the blue sky, and you see the workers there. Like, because it's kind of what you were saying about how they were able, this organization could create openings. That's what it is. This is an opening that's controlled. Now, I don't know if this entity actually works for the government. I feel like they would, but even if they started off as a company, because there's no way you could hide something like that. But the point is, it's being controlled. It's being controlled, and that's what I think it is. That's why you still see the Pirate Clark there and some of the other stuff, because they took the entities and they're interrogating, they're studying them. So, but I don't know. I kind of I like that the guys seemed actually sympathetic, because it's such a cliche where any of these kind of government, and I know I'm saying government even though it's not necessarily confirmed they're government, but
private. You can say private entity, I guess, or private because they're almost like a private, like, because they don't officially work for the government, but they're like a private sector or whatever, or private like company or whatnot.
Wait, Mama Bear, are you referring to that whole cliche where like a certain race of people are always killed off first in a horror movie? I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying that is like some cliche that I've heard of. Is that what you're referring to?
I don't want to call it a full complaint, but I don't have a better word. Is that generally someone who looks like the main character want to check out what's on the other side of a wall. Yeah, but I think what made up for it, Mama Bear, because this is what I was either gonna bring this up toward the end of like the final thoughts, because I want to let Batman go, but I like the hesitation. It wasn't a full on, oh, we could phase through and just walk straight through. I like the hesitation of, of like putting the hand through, and then didn't he throw something in there? I can't remember.
I don't remember if he threw something in there, but he was definitely curious, though. He was definitely kind of like, I don't know. I think I would probably go in. I'd be like, what the fuck? I mean, now I don't want to go too far into what Mama Bear or what I think Mama Bear's alluding to, because that's kind of something I don't really want to touch too much more. But I think any person would be curious. That's all I'm going to say with that. That's all I'm going to say. Because also you got to remember, these people, from their perspective, they're not in a movie. They're in real life from their perspective. Mm-hmm. They're not thinking, oh, if I go in there, I'm in a horror movie, so I'm going to die. They're not thinking like that.
But I'll even put it like this. I think the way to put it too is Clark is an architect, or wants to be an architect, and he's already by himself, and he runs this store. So he's already, because you remember the light bill is super high, and him and the electrician was like, I don't know why this is going high. Are you leaving the lights on? No, I turn it off when the store's closed, and the lights keep flickering when we do turn on the lights. So I think it, to Batman's point, is the curiosity of like, there's these sophisticated, this to him thinks that it's just a regular room until he figures out it's much more than that. But how sophisticated the walls are and everything in the back rooms is, and on top of what is running my light bill so high to where it's helping ruin the furniture store. So it's a little bit of curiosity and just, or it's more curiosity and just, exploration of like seeing what this is, because you see he goes in there and then he's looking around, and then he's seeing new stuff of like the caveman cutout, and then the room with the camera, and so he's finding new stuff before he gets ran back into the front rooms. So but to your point, I can understand to your point, because if it wasn't Clark and it was some other, and I'll say it, another black person, they would say hell no. Because I was even looking, even if I didn't know what the Backrooms was, and I phased through the wall and I seen that area with all the furniture right there, I would have said hell no. I don't know what this is. Everything's yellow, and even looking down the hall and it's continuing, I would have walked back in. So to your point, Mama Bear, you're not wrong, but to Clark is by himself, and it's not much he can do. But yeah, so to both points, I see both points. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to like address that without you
good. No, you good, because like that for me, I love horror movies. So like the best thing to really make me love a horror movie is if you can make it logical and still make it scary. cool. Like if you do it in a way of like, hey, this is a black person. This person is gonna say hell no, and even in that hell no, that scary thing or whatever ends up coming to them since they don't want to go to it. That makes it even better because it's like, oh, that person used logic, and it doesn't even have to be a black person. It could be whoever. If they use the logic of, no, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna go back, and then there's no way back. Boom. But yeah, someone who would be comfortable. Oh yeah, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable talking about it. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be the translator. I could be the translator for y'all on how, like, what y'all are saying. So, but yeah, I get what both of y'all, are saying with that of like, yeah, like, because I don't like horror movies where it's like, obviously, like, a black person is just gonna go into the, like, just random scenario. This black person is gonna walk in the middle of the woods after hearing a sound. No, they're gonna turn around and be like, nope, going back to the car. I'm gonna start this car. So yeah, but
yeah, I understand your point, Mama Bear. But now, kind of get back to like this. Like, what were your thoughts on the ending of the movie with when she's being questioned and stuff?
I liked it because it even with the doctor, because you can see the doctor being like, I want to help you. I want to. If it was up to me, I seen what you went through. I've been in the back rooms because they kind of hint at that he was in the back rooms before. If it was up to him, he would release her and let her go on in life. But he doesn't run the facility. So you saw he kept looking at the one-way mirror and, being like, I can't, there's only so much I could tell you. Otherwise I'll be in trouble. But so I love that. It really showed like you said, the control of the facility and of that company, and just the like, almost like it comes full circle of what we were saying of, honestly, my favorite YouTube series is horror movies that would have started if they start. Yeah. Literally. Those type of series is my favorite. But it comes full circle of, as a young kid, she was isolated and couldn't go out and all that, to escaping that, being an adult, helping other people, and then all to help other people just to get rewarded with helping this one guy and phasing through a wall to this backrooms area, going through this traumatic thing, just to be rescued by a company, just to tell her you can't leave. Now, we don't know what happens further because the movie ends, but I imagine they tell her you don't leave. And I kind of put in my head a theory of like, you've been through the back rooms, you're a therapist, so either you work for us and do some psychology work on our I guess workers or researchers that goes into the back rooms and comes back, or we put you in a hazmat suit and you go out there with these other people also. So that right there, I kind of at the end built my own written story with that, but I did enjoy that part because it's not necessarily a happy ending, which I'm not saying all horror movies need to end in this bad or sad way, but I like that it's like, hey, you escape the horrors, but you're stuck here and you're probably going to have to still deal with the back rooms.
Oh, what I like, they don't even necessarily for sure say what it is. I mean, he just says it's not up to me. For all now I don't think this is going to be the case. I'm just saying, technically speaking, for all it's basically sign this contract, we'll pay you money as long as you shut up. For all that could be it too. I mean, but that's what I like about it. It's a bittersweet ending. It's not like a sad ending. She's safe. I mean, she's safe, and I don't necessarily think those guys are going to kill her because they might as well have just left. They might as well just. Well, I guess they need her to answer questions, but yeah, she knows something that they don't want the world to know. So it makes sense that they have to do something about it. And I like what you said about her possibly being a therapist for those guys, because if she works for them, they can kind of control her easier. So I do like that. But what I like is I like the real aspect with Mary, is that she's scared. She's like puzzled with these questions. She's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I mean, I just walked into another reality. I got chased by a monster, and now you want me to sit down and just answer questions like nothing happened. I mean, she has a normal reaction, because even though like everyone has their breaking point, and that's, I mean, a most sane person would be scared. So, but I like that. Like I said, I like that doctor seemed nice. He seemed sympathetic. He seemed like he wanted to help her, but again, he can't. If he lets her go, he's just going to get in trouble. And he has a family. He was sitting with his wife and children, having popcorn, watching a movie or watching a TV show because there was a commercial. So he has a family to think about. I mean, you got to look out for your family before you look out for some stranger. So I understand his point, but I did like the movie. I liked how you see the backroom evolve, except for the memory of Mary. Because again, I don't like that. I mean, now technically the ending had to do that for continuity, but
but the overall idea of it, and I agree with you, because it kind of goes to my theory of what I was telling you of, like, because the whole idea is being forgotten. So if they did let her go, she wouldn't be forgotten. But because her version of her in the Backrooms is there, I think they didn't let her go.
Right. Yeah, because you see her, she's clearly not in the beginning of the movie, she's not forgotten because she's like socializing with people. You see her at that party or whatever. You see that she has a social life, but now, she's just sitting there. So that's a good point. Yeah. So, she probably has to live in there, live with them. I mean, again, we'll see, because I'm sure we can talk about that a little bit later, but it just, it's interesting. And I like that, they leave it open for a sequel. So I like that they did that. And again, like I said, I like it wasn't completely sad ending either, because she's safe. She is safe for now. So we'll see. But now let's get to the overall portrayal of the Backrooms. So now that the whole movie is over, what was your thought on how they portrayed the Backrooms?
I think they did an amazing job. Despite the whole on the people side of the forgotten memory thing, because I would have been okay with, like I said, with the forgotten things of like toys, clothes, different signs, buildings. I would have been okay with just that. But overall, they did a good job of capturing the never-ending, endless liminal space of the Backrooms, and the different rooms and different buildings and all that. They did such a good job. I think I don't know who could have done a better job than him, than Kane Parsons, but they managed to do a good job. And just like, I think they did a really good portrayal of the Backrooms.
And again, for me, I like the opening. I like the setting of it. I like the visuals of it. I think that was perfect, and I liked how it slowly evolved into, because that's the thing with the Backrooms. As you get into more levels, they get more complex. I would have liked to have actually seen the pool in full. I know they talk about it, but I would have liked to have seen that. A bit of a nitpick. I mean, I still, like I said, I go back and forth on this whole exit thing. I guess I would have liked to have seen the exit go away at some point, but I think in general, the place was great. The place was really well done. The only issue I have is the entities, the people, because again, that's not it's the loneliness that's a threat, and I have to bring this up once, the fact that they had a Christmas tree in there playing Feliz Navidad for a movie that released in June. And I think, because I have friends who, Trey and Corey of the Bat channel, who we butt heads about Christmas outside of Christmas. So I had to kind of bring that up for them. But other than that, though, I think if the entities were scarier and not these memory things, it would have been a perfect portrayal, an almost perfect portrayal. But because of the entities, that's the thing that kind of gets me a little bit. And that's so. Any other thoughts? Is there anything we missed that we didn't discuss that you kind of want to bring up?
I'm gonna run it through my. It's a Christmas.
No, Mama Bear, no.
I loved like because at the end they showed the missing people signs, missing person signs, or posters, and it's of the the assistant and the boyfriend. I love that they did that. So it kind of shows that like, hey, there's people looking for them. It's not just they just disappeared and nobody cared. Like I love that it's like, hey, yeah, no, these people are missing and we're looking for them. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I like the the many different levels when she's getting chased and she's going up the stairs, and that like I said, that scary anxiety feeling you get when she's like got to climb up, and I'm like, okay, are they gonna grab? Is the entity gonna grab her leg and pull her down or whatnot? So like, they did such a good job of like almost like faking out of like, oh, he's gonna grab her here or grab her here. But yeah, I'm hoping the second movie they explore more rooms. And either I would want them to either obviously go with new people, but either new people fall into the back rooms or it's workers at Async that goes and kind of like more of like the beginning of what happened in the beginning, but start off with like, I don't know, these group of people who work at Async and they're really cool with each other and they go in and then it just turns into this mess.
Well, you could have them work at Async and then like you'd have like the therapist be like a supporting character actually working as their therapist.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, so that's really all I can think of. You have any other thoughts?
I like the dog analogy, how they try to explain the Backrooms as trying to have someone draw a dog. I thought that was a great way to describe it, because that's something to think about. Like, because there's a lot of things we don't know how to describe, and you think about it like a dog. We know what a dog is because we all know what a dog is. But if you were to tell like someone who's never heard of a dog, they'd be like, yeah. So I like that, and kind of like what you said. I like the other sequences where like same with Clark, where he has to open that small little door and crawl through it. That not everything, you can't just run, you have to go through some small spaces to get away, because we move small, we don't move as fast through small spaces because we have to position ourselves. That takes time. So I do like that, but overall I think we kind of covered everything. At least I have everything I wanted to say. So
Even when Mary getting chased, I like it's two part, it's the same scene, but it's two parts of her running. Did she run in the house? I'm trying to remember the order, but basically she's running away, and there's a bunch of couches in this room. She has to like basically step over them. I think she ends up twisting her leg or something, and then having to crawl through. And then even the part where she thinks kind of almost a fake out, or she thinks she's outside, but she's still in the back rooms, and it's just multiple houses. So it's like her deciding what door to use and all that. But yeah, that's really it though. But that whole chase, I want more. I need more like exploration in before we get to like the chase of the monster. But yeah,
I can agree with that totally. So any final thoughts, and what did you rate this movie?
I probably give this like an 8.4. Yeah, 8.4. Like I really liked it. I liked the concept. I like majority of the film. It's just that, that those entities that, the forgotten people and then the pirate Clark. But other than that, if there was no forgotten people and it was just the spearheaded or some other entity chasing them, I think it would have been fine. I think it would probably bumped up to like a 9 or something like that.
See, I think that's the same thing with me too. It's like I love the first act, the second act, but that third act, and it kind of just with what they did with the Backrooms, taking away the mystery, like giving it an explanation, having the entities being like forgotten people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that, to me, that's a major thing for me. That's an issue. So because honestly, if it wasn't for that, and like the final act was the spearhead, I would have given it in the 9 range. But because of that, to me, that kind of ruins the whole thing for me. So, and not only that though, because I saw him do better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing too. I saw this director do better on YouTube, and it's like that whole thing. I make the point with the smart student. You're happy with a student who struggles getting a B, but you're not going to be happy with a smart student getting a B. So I think for me, I'm going to give this, and you'll see that I go crazy with decimal points. I'm going to give this a 7.51234658972354 out of 10.
Oh my God.
I'll give it the C range. I think it's a good time, but other than that,
C? Not even a B minus, not even a B minus, a C?
Yeah, because I think the entities is a big deal. And what up, Sin Havoc? So
okay, that's fair.
Thanks for
that's fair.
Because it's just, to me, it's a big part of the Backrooms. Like it's because it kind of retroactively makes some of the other parts worse. That's my problem. Because because it's not like a character did something stupid, but it doesn't really jeopardize the mythology. The problem is it jeopardized the mythology in the movie. That's why I put it a little bit lower. If it wasn't for that, I would put it in the B or the A range, but that's a big deal to me. So unfortunately, that does go in the 7 range. But I do think there's potential. Yes, Sin Havoc, yes. So I do think that I think this is still a great star. I still think it's amazing what this guy was able to do for a movie and for his age. Not that you can't succeed when you're older, guys. I want to make that clear. And I do hope we see more. I still hope to see more. And I think given the box office, we will.
Yeah, there's rumors of I don't know if it's fully confirmed, but they're thinking of doing a sequel. And if they do one, King Parsons is just looking for another writer to collab with. Shout out Sin. What's up, Sin? Shout out to Sin. But
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I would like I said, I would love to see for 2. I'm gonna give what I want to see, and then I really want to know what's your thoughts on what you want to see for the second film. But for me, I really want to explore more rooms that I want him to do more of the stuff he was doing with the short films. Like I said, that one short film or that one part of the Backrooms on his channel where it's four of the suits walking and one of the dudes fell in the hole and he ended up in another part of the Backrooms, and it was like not a whole different color, but it was a slight variation of yellow, and there was like a whole outside portion of it. I would love for them to explore that and do that, and more entities, of course, more different entities, and either, like I said, either new regular people that was in the front rooms that ends up in the. I would say I think it would be better if somebody fell through instead of this time being, hey, we're gonna walk through a wall.
Yes. Yeah. I want to see that. I want someone to no clip through and not that they're able to get back. I don't want it to be a portal. I want it to be an actual no clip. That's what I want to see. And I want to see the traditional entities. Because here's the thing. As much as I would love for them to retcon the whole memories thing, they established it in the movie. Whether I like it or not, it's canon, and the sequel does have to continue with that. but they can still show the more traditional entities. They can still do that. Maybe like have them being like the real threat, sort of. I don't know how you would go about that exactly, but just don't give it too much explanation. Keep it a mystery. But that's and like what you said, I want to see the outside. I want to see more levels in the back room that we've seen before. Because now that this is done well, they'll probably get a bigger budget to do more things. So
yeah.
is there anything else you wanted to say? I know I kind of cut you off there.
Oh no, you that was pretty much it. Just kind of like to add on to yours, because I like what you said. Because even if this is canon, to even Mama Bear's point, there's different entities and a whole different room. So like if somebody falls through, they could be in a whole different area of the back rooms, because the back rooms is large. As you know, as the audience, but even the people researching don't even know how big the back rooms is. So so somebody can end up in a whole different area, and instead of it being, I guess, memory monsters, it's our traditional monsters, or a whole new monster that doesn't have an explanation and or whatever. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And maybe some of the slides I've seen in some of these videos, like where you actually slide down and it's either a death trap, maybe you're safe, who knows. I want to see more of that stuff. So I think there's a lot of potential for a sequel. And, just maybe say it's a different level of the background. A different level has a different rule. That's so maybe they could just say, that's like a memory level. This level's more about memories, and this level is, they could just do that even too. That's kind of a way to like respect the sequel, but kind of fix some of the issues. But I think there's, I think we both agree there's potential. And I still, despite my issues with the movie, I still can't wait to see what this guy does next.
No, same. Yeah, because I think he has a really big potential. He said he doesn't want to do like, because somebody was asking him if he wants to do Star Wars. He said no. He wants to do like other IPs, or like other original things that people haven't touched yet, instead of like some big franchise like Star Wars or Marvel or DC or anything like that. So I'm pretty excited to see what he does in the future outside the back rooms.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I think this is a really great discussion. And I heard that, you're now one of the co-hosts of the Lethal Geeks with Rock Talks, correct?
That's absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. We had an amazing stream yesterday. They gave Phil and Charles gave their whole spiel of why they're taking a step back, not necessarily leaving, just taking a step back, being behind the scenes, and me and Rock are gonna be in front, basically being the front men of it. What else? Appreciate Kozy. Oh yeah. I'm a pretty understanding guy. Like it, I understood what you were saying, Mama Bear. It is. Funny thing is, it like I can't be mad at what you were trying to say, because that is something me as a black man and other black people have talked about, of like how to treat us in horror films. We don't want people to coddle us or anything like that, but at the same time, we don't want you to treat us, or when I say you, these directors and whatnot and these writers, we don't want them to treat us like we're dumb. There's a way of doing horror there's a way of having smart characters in a horror film and still have them get killed off despite them doing everything correctly. And that makes it even better for a horror film, because it's like they did everything. Like basically, if you're an audience member and you're like, why did this person trip? Why did this person go investigate? If you find a way of writing them in a way of like, nah, like you as an audience member are looking at it like, I wouldn't do that, and you do all the character does all the things that you would have done to avoid it, and they still get killed, that makes it even more terrifying because it's like I don't know how I would survive this. So I I understand your point and where you're coming from with that because they really be doing us dirty in horror films. So yeah, but yeah, the stream was dope. Uh, to anybody that's watching this, that hasn't seen the stream, make sure to go to Lethal Geeks, check out the stream, man. The stream is dope. We really talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about Paramount, the Netflix thing. Yeah, man. Yeah, I get annoyed every single time. I'm like, why is she? What's she trip over? There's no branch. There's no root to a tree. There's no rock they would have tripped over. Why is everyone like? Why do you have all these white women tripping? Why like you're telling me not like there's not a thing where a white woman might like hit something and they catch themselves from falling? And then my whole pet peeve is, okay, you fall down, get up. Why are you just sitting there and just accepting defeat? Like, no, don't kill me. And then they get killed instead of just getting up and then running a like a 100 meter or whatever. But yeah, but anyways, yeah. But yeah, so we did a dope stream. I recommend everybody check it out because super dope. We talked about the whole Paramount situation, them getting sued, the IMAX, Netflix potentially getting IMAX, the whole shebang, man. We talked about it, and then toward the end, they gave their explanation of why Phil and Charles are taking a step back, and then even in the beginning of the stream, I give my whole spiel of how I got into DC and all that. But yeah, check that out. It's a really dope stream. Yeah. Am I supposed to give everything? This is the whole.
I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything that you want to promote right now? Anything you want to promote on any of your channels?
Okay, so Twitch. I don't know if people have Twitch. I recommend getting Twitch. You'll find some dope creators, but I'm one of the dope streamers / creators on Twitch. Just today we reacted to the Xbox showcase, a little bit of the PC what do you call it, the PC gaming show, whatever. Didn't watch too much, got bored, but we ended up watching a lot of the Backrooms of by Kane Parsons on his YouTube channel. And then Friday, we ended up reacting to the Summer Game Fest and State of Play. So I recommend everybody download Twitch, you can make a free account, go and follow that channel, hit the notification bell because I will be start going live on there a lot, playing games, yapping, reacting to trailers, reacting to videos, reacting to music. So it's a fun time. It's a nice vibe. We catch a vibe over there. And then my YouTube channel, Kozy's World, KOZY' World, regular, how you spell world, regular. Gaming, that's my gaming channel, my reaction channel. Stuff I do on Twitch ends up on that channel. After I get off of here, I already have my thumbnail made. I just gotta make the description and make the title on YouTube, and I will be uploading my Baldur's Gate 3. I know I've said it on other channels of, the Baldur's Gate first episode's coming. It is coming. I'm dropping it tonight, so be on the lookout. And then if you want my other channel, KozyKam, KozyKam, is my vlog / photography / videography cinematography channel. So yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
Great. And guys, I have his links in the description, so check it out. And as for me, I do plan on doing a Six Flags Great America video for theme parks soon. And because there's a rant I have that I think Six Flags can improve on. And then I will be doing a clip on Curly Ray's and I Netflix segment and Curly Ray and my Netflix segment from yesterday. Because I think a lot of people need to realize what Dan Lin actually said and what Tim Sarandos actually said, because I feel like there's some miscommunication about that. So be on the lookout for that. But guys, if you like this stream, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, Kozy?
Y'all better like and subscribe, man. Bad Dan be putting on these streams. These streams be dope, man. Even yesterday's stream with him and Curly and Leon showing up at the end. Wonderful streams. Y'all hit subscribe, hit like. This is a great guy, man. Great guy. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And on that note, have a bat-tastic day.